Hey y'all, welcome again to another Luk'A'Here y'all podcast with your host Miss Trina, where we speak truth to the caregiving experience. And today we're gonna open up. Well, we ain't gonna open up. We're gonna talk about. Let's talk about the shift that happens in the shadows, the night shift. Yes, honey. I didn't even have to do much research on this because I spent my first 7 years in nursing, working 11 to 7 or 10 to 6, or yeah, 11 to 7 or 10 to 6, or sometimes 7 p to 7 a. And when it's in nursing homes and in hospitals, the night shift varies, the night shift differs, but the work don't. The rounds are still every 2 hours. The water, the little nourishment. I mean, not nourishment, but the hydration happens every 2 hours. Everything happens on that round in 2 hours. A check, a change, a turn, cow light, hydration, and then you charting coming out the room. Now, when you probably gonna have a bad night is when you late, and you know it, because in any setting, hospital or nursing home, you have to do a round with the outgoing aide to make sure that everybody is clean, dry, and secure, and safe. In their own rooms or wheelchairs or what have you. Because some patients love to stay up late. They love to wait till the night shift to get there to go to bed. But other than that, yeah. But if you working 11 to 7 and you roll in there at 10:45, you in for a night. Because whatever that hall look like at that 11 o'clock round, baby, you already know. You get that. You inherit that. So you might as well just work accordingly. Now, but seriously though, what do it mean to be the emotional anchor in a building full of sleeping souls? Everybody's asleep. The majority of the facility is asleep. Yeah, before I was so rudely interrupted by my grandson. But I posed that question though. What does it mean to be the emotional anchor in a building full of sleeping souls? That's for all you current CNAs. That's for all you ex night shift CNAs. Yeah, if you can answer that question, I sure love that. I sure love to hear it. Now, just picture it though. The whole building is just quiet. You know what I mean? The lights are dim because they have to be dim. You walk the halls while the rest of the world sleeps, and yet your shift is just now beginning. The night shift, the rounds, the call lights, the sundown in residence, and then it be like real, real, real calm before chaos just break out. For real, before chaos just break out. Sometimes it be probably your second round, you know. So, because I always, made a work bag. I did, I just really, really did. I needed something in it, to like calm me down. Stuff I know that was gonna calm me down. Like I said, it was just my, thing to have at work. I have a big old backpack on the back, but I got some stuff in it. I probably got my tablet. I probably got my my cell phone. I probably got some snacks or whatever. I probably got, man, just stuff to make me comfortable, to make this night go by without a hitch, and that's impossible. But to also, give my residents a good night's sleep, clean and dry and repositioned and hydrated, so, whatever it takes, you know what I'm saying? But then it be chill. It really, really, really be chill until somebody starts screaming about a virgin sacrifice by 3 o'clock in the morning, and you know good and well. Now you know good and well that's when it's all gonna break out, baby, because they up screaming and they done woke them up and they done woke them up. Now lights going off, everybody concerned, everybody wonder what's going on. It's just, 110% chaos, but it'd be a good chaos. You know what I'm saying? But being on a night shift, don't get me wrong now. It is it is quiet. It is slower because you ain't got no meals to pass. You ain't got nobody walking the house. You know, you don't have nurses, well, visitors and stuff like that coming in and out. Going to and fro and all this here. So, you know, it's I mean, it can feel spiritual if you like that peace. You know what I mean? Because we as CNAs that work the night shift, we become the guardians. You know what I'm saying? The guardians of peace, tranquility, memory, and dignity. So with that being said, man, when you work the night shift, for real, it's just a whole nother beast. Now, working the night shift, sometimes bring a shift differential. It all depends on what facility you work for. Don't quote me on that, but it depends on what facility you work for. Now, I read about something called the circadian chaos. Now, circadia is them little locust like things that be, buzzing all on the trees or whatever, and then they leave their shells. We used to call them locusts, but I found out that they was cicadas, cicada, something like that. I should have wrote that down while I'm researching everything else. But yeah, that's at a point when you're not just tired. You know what I'm saying? Your body is running a marathon in the wrong direction, basically. Because the stats from the what is that? CDC and sitebed.org and BMC. Yeah, all of the stats that I'm finna give you guys are actually stats that I got off these different websites, and the stats are as follows: 15 million Americans work night shifts. Okay, that's from the CDC and that's from nurse.org. 15 million Americans work the night shift. Night shift workers are 3 times more likely to suffer from sleep disorders. And that's from the CDC also. Sleep disorders when you work in a night shift. 42% report symptoms of anxiety and depression. And that's from the, what's that, the BMC psychological, yeah, biomedcentral.com. Yeah. 42% report symptoms of anxiety and depression. That's why them nursing homes need wellness days. They need mental health days, wellness days, whatever they calling them now. They need them days for CNAs because some people are just tired, especially if your facility is short. Your facility is used to being short, and you got to step up and do more work on the night shift. You tired. Yeah, and it also says 4.8% of night workers experience serious psychological distress versus the 2.3% of day workers. Man, because day workers actually get they rest. If they don't have 2 jobs, like me, because I work 10 to 6 and 6 to 2, like back to back. But I tell you, baby, when if I didn't have to go to that morning job, honey, baby, I straight go home and assault my bed. There wasn't no way I was getting up because I was getting my sleep. I was really gonna get my sleep. Now, devices we can use, and I call them devices because that's what they are, like melatonin, cortisol. Let me see. Now, your melatonin, you naturally have melatonin in your body, okay? And you naturally have cortisol in your body. So, with that being said, if your body is feeling tired or restless or whatever, by all means, that's your first. I don't care if you got to go take some melatonin. You know what I'm saying? That's your first indicator that your body needs rest. Your mind needs rest. Okay? Your body's orchestra, is playing jazz at midnight. when it's really supposed to be sleep. So you actually just, sometimes we call ourselves like running off pure adrenaline, just going all night long without a rest. Yeah, that is true, and that is a sign that we are fatigued. Yeah, because at night in certain facilities that I used to work at, because I used to call us as CNAs and nurses or whatever, providing me whoever you know visit the facility during them hours. I used to call us vampires, because vampires are the only ones that's constantly up during the night messing with people, bothering people. So that's what we do. But I know my first 4 years, I remember my first 4 years working the night shift. I was at a facility in North Dallas, and true enough, you used to hear all kind of crazy stuff during the night, but we knew that was, old building. That's what I'm gonna chalk it up to, old building. But when we used to hear stuff, or somebody used to tell us they heard something, I used to always say, yeah, that's the ghost of them people that didn't have proper pericure when they passed away. I mean, not. Lord forgive me, that's not funny. Well, it's funny now, but it wasn't funny then. But it's not. I mean, okay, it's not funny, but I do crack crazy jokes though. So yeah, don't be looking at me crazy or whatever. So. And I'm serious. I used to always say that I believe the facility that I was working at is haunted. Yeah, because the ghosts don't do nothing but mess with all the trainees. They don't mess with the people that's been there the longest. They don't bother us. They bother all the trainees. That's why we can't keep doing. Something going on off in there. But anyway, um, we are the emotional first responders. You know what I'm saying, when it comes to our patients at night. Because like I said, the night shift is turning into the day. Actually, it's another day. It's one day going into the other. So, you know, with that being said, whatever the morning brings for our residents, our clients, or our patients, or whatever, we have to be there for that. We got to handle that grief. We got to handle that confusion. And we got to handle all that trauma, what I'm saying, that they going through because they in there alone by ourselves. And this is each individual patient that's under our care for this 8 to 12 hours. And that is a lot mentally on a person. It really is, especially when you are very compassionate about what you do. That's a lot on a person, and people don't never, they don't never notice they red flags. You know what I'm saying? Until it's too late. And there are mental red flags, in nursing, especially when you think you got to get burnt out. You think you're about to be burnt out. Let me say it like that. Because burnout don't always look like collapse. You ain't got to just fall out. You ain't got to just pass out. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got to do none of that. It can be quiet. And it can creep up on you and disguised as you being like just tired. But I'm gonna tell you some signs though. So if you see them in yourself, yeah, you need to go ahead and take your mental wellness day, baby. Or you need to go ahead and go to sleep. Go to sleep soon as you go through the door, baby. Clock out. You need you some rest, cause you on your way to something different if you don't address it now. You know what I mean? And what I mean by that is the chronic. Chronic. You just irritable. You know what I'm saying? Every little thing just get up under your skin, baby. You about to pop at any minute now. You know what I'm saying? But you don't want to tell nobody. You don't want to, be like that off in this setting. Because whether you're in a facility or a hospital, you still off in that patient's space, that patient or their resident space, and you got to respect it. You know what I mean? And that emotional numbness. You know what I'm saying? Your compassion is being slowly chipped away at, to where you just answer, yeah, I got it. Yes, ma'am, I'll do it for you. You know what I'm saying? That ain't no attitude to have while you at work. Okay? Or especially the attitude before you go to work, you be like, oh, you just be you just be dreading to go to work, baby. Because when you at that point, yeah, please don't go in there. For real. Okay? Because I got some more stats to you that the CDC, now CDC, these are the CDC findings, okay? It says workers without paid sick leave are 1.7% more likely to experience serious psychological distress. Workers without paid sick leave. That's wild. Who is giving unpaid sick leave here oh, we in Texas. Let me quit tripping. Anyway, you sure right. You sure right. Because I went through that same thing when I had my surgery. So I'm going to go ahead and, you know what I'm saying, back on up off that one. But, and then they say those who work while physically ill report 5.8% distress versus 1.9% who don't. Yeah, because you know we all guilty of it. Going to work when we don't feel good, especially us compassionate ones, going to work when we don't feel good. We got some stuff going on our own self, but we on the schedule for the day, so we got to go. We can't call in because you know you're going to leave them short. You already know. I already know. You know, so what we need to be doing, you know, on that end is normalizing these mental health work days that we need at work. We can go and ask. You can go and ask a supervisor, say, man, I ain't even feeling this. You know what I'm saying? I can't come in here tomorrow. My head ain't in the right space. That's what you're saying. Instead of just calling in and then you ain't got nobody to cover you. Now that's mean. That'll make me mad right there. For real. Or if you just need that kind of rest and you can't get it, baby, you need to go to a sleep clinic or something. Now, I actually asked three of my you know, current CNA friends. I asked three of them, you know, give me some night warriors. You know what I'm saying? Give me some night warrior stories, you know, from your night shift because all of them work 7P to 7A. You know, and the first chick told me, she said she you know, like I asked her what does it take for her to get through a hectic night at work. What does it take for her to get through a night that she deemed hectic? And she said she actually find peace in the quiet. She'll go and find her a quiet space, and she'll use that time to like reflect over the past day or reflect over the shift, you know, up until that point, and she'll write about it and she'll journal it. You know, she'll write it down, whether it be a good shift or a bad shift. She, you know, she journaling. You know, and then my other friend named Teresa, she worked at a actual nursing home, so she worked 10 to 6. I'm sorry, two of them work 7P to 7A, and one worked 10 to 6. But yeah. But she said she worked on the memory unit. That's the lock unit. That's the unit where all of severe dementia and Alzheimer's patients live on the locked unit. And she said all she have is sundown and patients. You know what I'm saying? That's all she have. I mean, everybody on the floor is sundowning. So they up all night doing what they supposed to be doing, like during the day, you know. And it's her and another aide, true enough. She's on one end of the hall, the other aide is on one end of the hall. Or they'll take, you know, one side of the hall, you know, a piece. You know what I mean? So, I mean, she said it's just like day shift because everybody is up. They continuously up. But she said she found strength in affirmations. For real, she said she go in the bathroom. She be looking in the mirror to my girl. You know you got this, girl. I understand, girl. I'm talking about. She talked to herself like. Talk to herself like that to get through it. But I mean, look, if that's what you have to do, that's what you have to do. Okay. And Tina, you know, this one, she works 7P to 7A, and she got she got compassion, she got a spirit just like me, baby, because I have to have my smooth jazz while I'm working. I have to have it. See, at Baylor, the Baylor Rehab downtown, I could do that because it was always at a low minimum, and plus my patients like it, you know, when I come to do my rounds on them, you know, they hear the music and they like it. So that's why that's how I got away with that. But, you know, it was never nothing, you know, derogatory or nothing like that. It was all smooth jazz. Sometimes with words, sometimes just music, but still people liked it. But she said she built the ritual that she built to survive was she got her music, she got snacks, she said she prayed, and she got this scented lotion that remind her of her house. It remind her of home. So with those tools in place, you know what I'm saying, she, can get through a hectic night, at any given time because she got her ritual down pat. You know, so hey, y'all need to probably try that. But but we as CNAs though, we deserve more than just survival at this thing now. You know what I mean? We deserve wellness too. So, we just got to do better with taking care of ourselves. Really, while we taking care of everybody else, while the world sleeps. You know what I'm saying? Y'all working. While the world sleeps, y'all preserving humanity. So during the day when you clock out, man, let that time be for yourself. You know what I'm saying? Cause me, when I get off and I don't have to go to my morning job, baby, I get home, honey, my kids be getting ready to get off to school. Honey, as soon as the last one leave out the door, I lock it, close them blackout curtains, baby, throw me on some smooth jazz, honey, get off in my bed, in that room, and it's done. It's done. I'm sleep all day until probably an hour before my kids get there because they had like after school practice or something like that. But yeah, I'm getting my sleep, baby. I wasn't doing no playing by mine. Cause I'm just gonna tell you the truth. I started treating my sleep time like sacred time, okay? And that changed everything for me. It really did. Because, sometimes, when you get off on a night shift or whatever, your body is just full of adrenaline. You still moving. You still want to do this. You still got to do that. And then by the time it's time to lay down, you ain't got that much sleep time because in a couple of hours, it'd be time for you to get up to go to work. So, yeah, you don't want to be doing all that. But we need these facilities, though. I mean, seriously, it's time these facilities honor the hearts that heal in the dark. Period. It's time for y'all to honor these folks because while y'all at home sleephead people, we keeping y'all business afloat at night. And that is the truth. And we should be, I'm not going to say compensated because we're in the state of Texas, baby. As you saw in my last video, I don't think we'll never be compensated, baby. You got to just straight talk yourself up to get what you're supposed to get or to get what you feel like you deserve. So I mean, them mental health check-ins and stuff, shoot, we all need that. We need that with each other. It ain't nothing for you to come back early from your lunch break and you see a aide sitting over there sitting down or whatever. You ask her, hey, girl, you all right? You cool today? It ain't nothing. It don't hurt to ask. You never know what you find out. So, and plus, they need decompression rooms too. Especially in the hospitals. Because you see some stuff in the hospitals. You really, really see some stuff in the hospital. Now, in the nursing homes, you can find a specific set of patients. But in the hospital, you find patients all look, because there's so many departments. You know what I mean? And them people be really, really feeling some type of way about their diagnosis and stuff. And, that could build up on the person. So they need them decompression rooms for people to just go in, for employees to go in, close the door, and just holler if you want to, cry if you want to, just decompress, because if you riled up and wild up, honey, you can't do your job right. For real. And they need more flexible scheduling too, and paid sick leave now. Because in this climate, at this day and age, yeah, with the mental health running rampant as it is, people just now finding out that they got this and they got that or whatever, but they need to actually let somebody know that it's going down like that so they can have those days. You know what I'm saying? Because the night shift workers face higher burnout than and worse mental health conditions than any shift in nursing. Whether it be 6 to 2, 2 to 10, 10 to 6, 7 to 3, 3 to 11, 11 to 7. You know what I'm saying? So, with that being said, though, for real, we need to, have more support groups for CNAs. We need to have more people that CNAs can talk to. I ain't talking about just no therapist, because I understand the therapists understand, but you know what I'm saying. When we in nursing, we as peers have to get together. Us in nursing have to get together. I don't care if Miss Mary 57 years old and you 22, she's still a CNA. Go holler at her. Trust me. Whatever you think you done seen, she done seen it. Probably 3 times over. Yeah, for real. And just remember, y'all, shoot, y'all are the heartbeat of healing when it comes to this thing called nursing. For real. And that, my friends, is very extraordinary. Pat yourself on the back, hug yourself, love yourself. Because long as you loving those your patients and your residents right, you gonna be all right. And that's serious. So continue to love each other. Okay? Take care of your patients and your residents as you would take care of yourself. So with that being said, people, I got another episode. I got an exciting episode coming up. It's exciting to me. You know, probably not be exciting to y'all, but it's exciting to me. And it's called CNA versus AI. Will tech replace human touch? Now I'm gonna tell you something right now. If it do, I'm done. And I'm just telling you the truth on that. Because tech can't feel. They program to feel. They don't just naturally get it. So yeah, that's gonna be an exciting one. And now I'm not gonna get down in my conspiracy theories. I'm not gonna do none of that. I now already researched the cast. I done got my stuff. I already wrote down. I already know what I'm gonna say. I already know how I'm gonna pull it off. And I'm not gonna go down that rabbit hole. I'm not. So until then, y'all continue to take care of everybody and yourselves. All right.